of class 9 biology. The name of this chapter is tissue. There are two types of tissues, that are plant tissues and animal tissues. Today I will discuss about the animal tissue. So this is the topic of today. My today's topic of discussion is, at first I will say about the definition of animal tissue. Then we will see the types of animal tissues. Then we will see the structure and function of each types of the animal tissues. So let's watch. So now see the definition of animal tissue. Animal cells with the same structure and function are grouped together to form tissue. As we have known that same structure and functional cells are grouped together to form tissues, here animal cells with the same structure and function are grouped together to form tissues. These type of tissues are called animal tissues. So same structure and function of some cells are grouped together to form tissues. These type of tissues are called animal tissues. Now we will see the types of animal tissues. Here is the types of animal tissues. Here we can see that there are 4 types of animal tissues. There are mainly 4 types of animal tissues. The first one is epithelial tissue. The second one is muscular tissue. Third one is connective tissue, and the fourth one is nervous tissue. So here we have seen that there are 4 main types of tissue. Now let's see, there are 5 main types of epithelial tissues. That are, first one is squamous epithelial tissue. Second one is cuboidal epithelial tissue. Third one is columnar epithelial tissue. Fourth one is ciliated epithelial tissue. And the last and fifth one is glandular epithelial tissues. So here we have seen that there are 5 main types of epithelial tissue. The next type of animal tissue, that is muscular tissue. Here you can see that there are 3 types of muscular tissue. The first one is striated muscular tissue. The second one is non-striated muscular tissue. And the third one is cardiac muscular tissue. So here we have seen that there are 3 types of muscular tissue. Now let's see the connective tissue. There are 5 types of connective tissue. That are areolar connective tissue, supporting connective tissue, adipose connective tissue, skeletal connective tissue, and fluid. Here are also subtypes. That is, the supporting connective tissue is again divided into 2. That is tendon and ligament. The skeletal connective tissue is again divided into 2 types. That are cartilage and bone. And the fluid, that is also 2 types, blood and lymph. This connective tissue is very important in this portion. So what we have seen here, the animal tissue is divided into 4 main types. These 4 main types are epithelial tissue, muscular tissue, connective tissue, and nervous tissue. These 4 types are again divided into some subtypes. In epithelial tissue is divided into 5 subtypes. Muscular tissue is divided into 3 subtypes. Connective tissue is divided into 5 subtypes, and there is no such division in nervous tissue. So here you can see the all types of animal tissues. You can copy the table from here. Next I will explain one by one the structure and function of these types of animal tissues. So let's see about the types. So, at first we will discuss about the first type of animal tissue, that is epithelial tissue. So, what is epithelial tissue? They are the protective tissues of the human body. So, epithelial tissues are the protective tissues of the human body. They cover many organs and cavities that are present inside the body. The epithelial tissue cover the organs and cavities that are present inside the body. So, epithelial tissue is a protective tissue of human body and it covers the organ and cavities inside the body. Here you can see the picture of epithelial tissue. The epithelial tissue looks like that. Where does they found? They are found in the lining of the blood vessels, means on the surface of the blood vessels. This type of tissue is found. The lining of the mouth, kidney tubules, inside the kidney tubules these type of tissues are found. Inside the skin and the lung alveoli. So, inside the blood vessels, inside the mouth, inside the kidney tubules, inside the skin and inside the lung alveoli, these type of protective tissue named epithelial tissue are found. So, now we will see the structure of this epithelial tissue. So, here is the picture of epithelial tissue. Here we can see that the tissues are tightly packed and form a continuous sheet. Here you can see that the tissues are tightly packed and form a continuous sheet. There is no space between the cells of epithelial tissue. Here you can see that between the cells there is no intercellular space between them. The cells are permeable. This makes it possible for them to exchange materials between different parts of our body. The cells are permeable, means they help to exchange the materials between different parts of our body. As they are permeable, they help to exchange the materials to go inside and outside of this tissue. So, that's why these type of epithelial cells or epithelial tissues are called permeable tissue. Now, let's see the function of this epithelial tissue. The main function of the epithelial tissue are to act as a barrier, means the epithelial tissues act as the barrier and they separate different organs and systems from each other. As they act as barrier, means they separate different organs and systems from each other, means if the epithelial tissue will act like a barrier, this portion and this portion will be separated from each other. Like that, as the epithelial tissue is a barrier, they separate different organs and systems from each other. So, this was the function of epithelial tissue. Now we will see the subtypes of the epithelial tissues. Now let's see the subtypes of epithelial tissue. So the first one is simple squamous epithelial tissue. So at first we will see the structure of it. As you can see the picture, they have delicate cell lining and possess a flat thin structure. You can see in the picture that it has flat thin structure and they have delicate cell lining. There is no intercellular space present. This type of epithelial tissue is found in alveoli and Bowman's capsule of nephron in kidney. So, this type of squamous epithelial tissue are found in alveoli of lungs and Bowman's capsule of nephron in kidney. The next one, that is stratified squamous epithelial tissue. The previous one was simple squamous epithelial tissue and this is the stratified squamous epithelial tissue. The structure of it is the epithelial squamous cells are arranged in several layers. As you can see in the picture that there are several layers. So this type of epithelial tissues are arranged in several layers and this stratified squamous epithelial tissue is found in the skin. So these type of tissue are found inside the skin. The next one, that is columnar epithelial tissue. The structure of this tissue, as you can see in the picture, they are the column shaped tissue. That's why the name is columnar epithelial tissue. They are tightly packed. So no intercellular spaces are present there. As the tissues are tightly packed, so there is no intercellular space. This type of tissue is found in the intestine. It is found in the inside of the small intestine. It is basically found in the small intestine. The next one, that is cuboidal epithelial tissue. The name cuboidal comes why? Because see the structure, they are cube shaped cells. These epithelial tissues are formed by the accumulation of cube shaped cells which are involved in absorption and secretion. Means this type of cuboidal epithelial tissues help in absorption and the secretion. These type of tissues are found inside the kidney tubules. As it is help in the secretion, so it is found in the kidney tubules. You can see the picture here. As it is cube shaped cells, that's why the name of this type of tissue is cuboidal epithelial tissue. The last type of epithelial tissue is the glandular epithelial tissue. These are special gland cells. That's why the name glandular. These are special gland cells. So that the name of this tissue came glandular epithelial tissue. That can secrete substances. Means this type of tissue can secrete substances. The cells are uninucleated. Uni means one, so that a single large nucleus is present inside one cell. As it is uninucleated, uni means one, so that there are only one nucleus. That's why it is uninucleated. These type of tissues are found in sweat glands in the skin. These type of tissues are found in the sweat gland in the skin. From this tissue, sweat, that is the waste product of our skin, comes out of our body. So these all are the types of epithelial tissue, and you have also seen the picture of every tissues. The next type of animal tissue is muscular tissue. It is made up of muscle fibers. That's why the name muscular tissue, which are long cells. These type of cells are long cells. As you can see in the picture, they are very long. It allows movement in our body. These muscular tissue help to move our body. They contain special proteins called contractile proteins. These proteins cause contraction and relaxation of the muscles. This type of tissue has special proteins called contractile proteins. These proteins cause the contraction and relaxation of the muscles. If there a question comes that why the muscles contract or relax, why do the muscles moves? The answer will be that because the muscular tissue contains special proteins called contractile proteins. These proteins cause contraction and relaxation of the muscles. So this will be the answer of this question. As we have seen earlier that there are three types of muscular tissue. They are striated muscles tissue, unstriated muscles tissue and cardiac muscles tissue. So this type of muscular tissues are present inside our body. So let's see the structure and function of it. Here we will discuss a very important topic, that is the first and second type of muscular tissue, that is striated muscle tissue and unstriated muscle tissue. The features of these two types of tissue are given below, and here is also the difference between them. So here you can see, in case of striated muscle tissue, we can move them according to our own will, means we can move this type of tissue according our own will. But in case of unstriated muscle, we cannot start or stop the movement of involuntary muscles. It is also called voluntary muscle. The striated muscle is also called voluntary muscle because we can move them. But unstriated muscle, we cannot move them. That's why it is known as involuntary muscle. Second one, they are also called skeletal muscles as they are attached to the bones. Means the striated muscle tissue are attached to the bones. That's why it is known as skeletal muscles. In case of unstriated muscle tissue, they are also called smooth muscles. Striated muscle tissue are called skeletal muscles and the unstriated muscle tissue are called smooth muscles. The next one, there are some dark and light bands are present over them. Means in the striated muscle tissue, there are dark and light bands are present over them. So they are called striated muscles. So here we get the name why it is given that striated muscles. In this type of muscle, some dark and light bands are present. As you can see in the picture, there are some dark and light bands. So they are called striated muscles. But in case of unstriated muscle, they do not have any dark or light bands. That's why they are called unstriated muscles. So the difference between them, in case of striated muscle, there are dark and light bands on them. That's why they are called striated muscles. And in case of unstriated muscle, there is no dark or light band. That's why it is called unstriated muscles. The next one, they do not have any branches. In striated muscles, there is no branches. And in unstriated muscle, they have pointed ends. Means their ends are pointed. You can see in the picture that they have pointed ends. The example of striated muscle is muscles of our hands and legs. In our hands and legs, which type of muscles are present? Striated muscles are present. That's why we can move our hands or leg in our own will. And the unstriated muscles, that are involuntary muscles, that we cannot start or stop movement, are present in the alimentary canal and the iris of our eyes. This is present inside the alimentary canal and the iris of our eyes. You can see the pictures of striated and unstriated muscles. So I think you can understand this difference also. The last type of muscular tissue is cardiac muscle, or it can be said that cardiac muscles tissue. So what is cardiac muscles tissue? They are special kinds of involuntary muscles tissue. Why involuntary? As I said earlier that which type of tissue we cannot move of our own will are called involuntary muscular tissue or are called involuntary muscles. The cardiac muscles which are found inside our heart. So we cannot control of our own the heart muscles. That's why it is involuntary muscles. The muscles of our heart perform rhythmic contraction and relaxation throughout our life. Means these muscles inside our heart perform rhythmic contraction and relaxation throughout our life. That's why we are alive. If this rhythmic contraction and relaxation stops, the heart will not stay alive and we will also die. So the cardiac muscles tissue are very important for us. They are cylindrical in shape. They have branches and there is a single nucleus in every branch. So they are cylindrical in shape. In the picture you have seen, you can see that they are cylindrical in shape. They have branches and there is a single nucleus in each branch. So this was the cardiac muscles tissue. And it is the most important muscles tissue because it controls our heart. Without our heart we cannot alive. So it is the important muscles tissue. So today I will discuss till the muscular tissue. On the next video, on the next class, I will discuss about the connective tissue and the nervous tissue. So everyone copy the notes from the video and everyone like, comment and obviously subscribe the channel so that when new videos will come you can see that. So goodbye.